Hola Alan, gracias por invitarme. Estamos aquí celebrando la publicación de tu libro de innovación. Cuéntanos cómo se llama y qué tiene dentro.
Bueno, se llama Commanding Innovation. Es el cambio desde el consejo de dirección, explicado de una forma comprensible para que todos los consejos puedan aplicar innovación en la empresa.
Muy pocos libros tocando este tema en concreto, ¿verdad?
Muy controversial.
Muy bien, muchísimas gracias.
Good night to everybody. Thank you for coming. I'm very happy to see you here. Paco, thank you for accepting this invitation.
It's a pleasure, Alan, to be here.
We are going to present the book, Commanding Innovation. I will introduce it briefly later, but I decided to have an induction to this innovation topic because people normally don't understand innovation, and I understand why. So I invite Paco, my former director of the Master of Innovation. He's also a great futurist and artist, digital artist, and he also writes cyberpunk novellas. What this means, we will know today. So Paco, please introduce a little bit the saga which you are writing, because I'm very impressed about the level of details which you bring on your books. So I would like to share with the publicum about these stories, which inspire me personally in order to describe the year 2068, which we use nowadays to describe different scenario plannings in the business world. But all this scenario planning came from some place. And this place is the art and this imagination with artists like Paco bring to us and help us to create these scenarios, these futures, which we need to use to imagine and to trigger new ideas in the innovation. So tell us about your awards. Why your novellas are so...
Okay, thank you very much for inviting me here. It's a pleasure. It's great to be with you tonight. I was writing business and economic books up to the year 2018, and then I started my passion, which is cyberpunk, science fiction, things like that, fantasy. And I started with the idea of writing something similar to a Blade Runner, Ex Machina. I don't know if you know these films, Minority Report. This is more coming from cyberpunk, but also I like very much the view that movies and books like Dune will give you, which is more looking into like these impossible worlds in the very long future, but very short. So I started with Koji Neolut. Koji, he's a Japanese guy. He's working in a group of developed by the police in a city, supposed to be Madrid, but I am not saying Madrid. And they work in a type of cross-pollination teams because knowledge is so complex in the year 2068 that you need to bring people from quantum computing to from blockchain or whatever, or the technology that you will have in these years. Because he's working in a team that is trying to put the bad people into jail, he gets into very strange cases. I don't know if you remember the X-Files. X-Files, yes? So it's a little bit like that. And during the first case, he gets into a situation where he manages to see that he has a new competences, capability, which is foresight the future with his dreams. And at the time, in the year 2068, people in general in societies are able to record several things that we will discuss later. So I put this novel into the market and it received an award, a national award. I was very happy for that. And then I developed the second one. From the very beginning I was thinking that I was going to do 9 episodes of Koji Neon. And I am already finishing chapter 5, which will be launched now for Christmas time. So the second episode, it was very different. It was a case where I was touching other things, in relation to mafia groups, and also in relation to DNA, how can you use these biotechnologies to create new species, things like that. And this one received also an award in Los Angeles. So, good, Paco, probably you will be able to stop working in some months, years, and you can focus on other things. And then from there I continued. The novels are reviewed by a person from Penguin Random House, the book publisher. This person doing the reviews, he's very, very tough with me, extremely tough. So when I am sending my first draft, normally something comes back, 15 pages, and first part, boring, second part, is not making sense, the style, the contents, and it's very, very tough as a writer to see that someone so experienced is throwing your piece of work into the floor, and then you have to rethink everything again. But that is really helping me to be a real writer. So some people that have been able to read all the books and giving me feedback, they say that the books are really different to anything else, because I managed to express views of the future with very few details, and you get really, really into how I see things happening.
Can we do some role play now?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about one of the topics which I got really impressed about, how you describe how in the future we will be able to record the dreams. This sounds to me like a new business model.
Completely. So already this is coming from health more, and already we know that we can record things that if you pass these things into a type of image, you will start to see something similar to a bird or a tree or whatever. So we are already in this level. So people from Foresight, they believe that we will be able to record dreams into the future. There is a film, an old film from Australia, telling something very interesting that it captured my attention some time ago. The story is that after a nuclear bomb in the society, in this film, by serendipity, they managed to record dreams. It's like something that happens. And the next thing is that people get very much into looking into their own dreams, and they get addicted, basically. And they spend hours and hours and hours looking into their own dreams. If you manage to record dreams, then you are not far away to record thoughts, and even old memories or recent memories. Now imagine that you can see all these things in the future. How many hours will you be putting to see things with your family when you were very young? How many hours will you put to look how your imagination is thinking during your dream times? Probably it's going to be hours and hours and hours. Now the next question is, okay, would you be interested in looking to the dreams of Alan? I don't know, probably scary. But I don't know, a dodgy area. I don't know if I want to go there. But in any case, this could happen, and then big companies will appear from this business model.
It means we will be able to have our own custom-made Netflix with our own dreams to stream it for whoever we want.
It could be, because imagine, basically we are supposed to be dreaming something around 8 hours per 24 hours per day. The REM, the rapid eye movement, goes between half an hour up to 2 hours. This is the time when you are really dreaming. But if you multiply the numbers, the quantity of contents that you can have in your Netflix is incredible. Now, this is only like dreaming. If you put the other things like memories and imagination coming from your thoughts or whatever, that will be unbelievable. And even you can mix. And now another question that I am asking myself is, could it be possible for me to dream together with you and to appear in the same dream? And that is going to appear in the novel 5, basically. Now, why this is interesting? Because if we are connected, you and me, and we manage to get into the same dream, then what happens if we have like an affair, you and me? Probably it's not going to happen, but what will happen there? Because that is something similar, different to the real world. So if you enter there, then you have legal issues, as you can imagine. You're thinking, no.
I'm thinking.
You want to go with me to the dream, yes? Hand by hand.
No, I was thinking that this opened a whole new topic, which is legal in dreams recording. Is this legal? GDPR for dreams.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
That's
Lawyers, attention.
that's something that I am touching in novel 5, because this is a type of thriller movies. So you have police, you have thieves, bad people, and we are trying to put these people into prison, into jail, basically. So in novel 5, what happens is that a person that is very expert in manipulating dreams, and this is something that happens today. So some people can manage to control that. I have done myself some experiments because I am writing my novels, and they call it these lucid dreams. I don't know if you have done these lucid dreams. So basically, I will tell you one technique, which is very simple for you. If you are in a dream and you extend your hands like this, and you look into your fingers, and the fingers start to move and start to like type of disappear with the environment, then your brain is going to get conscious that you're dreaming, and you are also outside the dream, sleeping or doing something. And that is very weird. It happened to me once. It was one of the best experiences of my life. What happens next is that because you are in control of the dream, you can control the dream in the sense of bringing new people into the dream, extending the dream. Something also that will happen there is that because you are aware that you are dreaming, and you are also outside, the dream will tend to disappear very, very fast. So you have to find ways to keep the dream alive. And there are techniques to do that. So I have done that once. People from the Tibet, Himalaya, these places, they do this naturally, because for thousands of years they have been training themselves to wake up in the night and to have several ways of getting this lucid dream.
Now, if we are recording dreams and the AI and the machines are getting in our dreams, then we come to the topic of if we can get or fall in love with machines.
Yes, and this is
feelings.
also...
Tell us about this.
This is also fantastic. So you have the virtual world and you have the physical world. I have been working for companies doing physical robots for many years. Siemens, these types of companies. Now, in the two situations, virtual, metaverse or whatever, with gloves and special suits that you will feel the touch of whatever, and in the physical one, it's going to happen that in some years you are not going to distinguish what is real or artificial. You're not going to distinguish that. At that point, to reach that point, we have to cross the Alchemy Valley. I don't know if you know the Alchemy Valley. This is a point where you are starting to see that the robot, let's suppose physical, is not good enough, but is very, very realistic, but still your brain is detecting that this is artificial and you don't like it for whatever the reason. Once you cross the Alchemy Valley, you get into this situation where you don't distinguish. There, you can get in love with a woman, with a man, you can love pets, you can do many things. And legal things
hit again.
Because what happens if I get married with a virtual marvelous lady or physical marvelous lady robot, and I leave all my inheritance to this person when I die? Can I do that? Probably yes, why not? You are leaving your stuff, my companies that we are going to build, to this artificial person, and that's a question that will happen, and many, many other questions will happen. Now, many things will also appear from psychology. For example, imagine that Alan is a physical robot, and I am a person, and we get in love again. Yeah, you can see that I am throwing new things tonight. Yeah? You can notice that.
So, the door's still closed.
So the problem here is that I can get in love with Alan very, very high and feel all these things that you feel when you are in love, you have these butterflies in your stomach and all these things. But I believe that you are a human person, but in reality something will tell me in my mind, no, but this is an artificial robot. And that thing is not going to feel anything for me. And that will have something to do from psychology. It's like my brain like gets confused, but there's still something, an alarm will say, Alan doesn't like you, it's a robot, and that also affects, so you can try to forget about that and say, I don't care in any case, this is my love partner, I go with you. So it's very, very interesting, and we are going to need a lot of experts coming from sociology, psychology, legal issues, blah, blah, blah. And we are always speaking only about the technological part, but it's much more interesting, the part coming from humanism in general, and that is what I am trying to throw in my novels.
Let's see if their religions accept this.
Yes, that's another topic.
We can apply innovation for
That's
religions.
another topic, religions.
So, all this change will make that people get confused. So what about mental health? Because I saw in the novels that you are also mentioning cyber security, mental health, everything getting a kind of effect of Medici, crossing borders and connections which normally we will not put together, because cyber security have nothing to do with psychology. But now we are talking about recording dreams. So if we record dreams, is a machine involved? Cyber security, who can have access to my dreams? Which information is disclosure, and this will affect me as a human, makes me crazy, I need a psychologist.
Mental health is going to be another topic, and just to go a little bit back, year 95, since then, we are starting to have major changes in the brain, basically. So we are losing the capacity of attention, and we are getting much more better to search, to find things using Google or whatever. That is affecting the brain quite a lot. And as you can see and you can imagine, we are getting very much addicted to smartphones and many things. You can see this in anything, in movies, in books, in newspapers. People are not able to concentrate anymore. That's changing very fast, and that is a big affection to the brain. If we take a look to the year 2030, 2040, 2050, this is something that is coming from the Singularity. Singularity University was founded in the year 2008, and you have people there like me, futurologists, like Raymond Carswell or Peter Diamandis, and they say that singularity, the point of time where computer capacity will surpass the capacity of the brain, is going to be the year 2045, basically. That is the origin of the prediction. Now, they have been looking into this in detail, Oxford University, many people, 200, 300 studies, and they are moving between the year 2030, very early, in 7 years, to the year 2080, 2090. But singularity probably will happen. Singularity means, again, that the computer capacity is going to overpass the brain capacity at a point. And that is a point of uncertainty, because at that point, technology is going to look to improve much faster than us, and then this is going to accelerate. And that is going to have a major impact in humans in general. So there are several ways to look into this, but mental health is going to be a major issue, because some people, they will try to follow the path of the exponential growth of technology. Probably innovators will be very much kind to do that. Other people, they are going to get off the bus, as my father says, it's enough, I want to go back to the monastery, I don't want more technology. This can even go to business models where many people, societies that are going to say, we want to get down off the bus, and we want to find this village or place or countryside where technology is as in the 80s or the 70s. We want to be as maximum as the Motorola's. We don't want to go even farther than the Nokias. We want to stay there. So some businessmen and women, they are going to say, that's a business model, we are going to create these places. And these places are going to have enough technology to live your life in a way that was like in previous years and not like now. So This is going to affect also mental health somehow, because society is splitting in different paths that are so far away. Some people are going for the future, some people are going for the past, many things will happen.
Let's talk about the conglomerates of people who are starting to live together, relating the interests they have. We see it today in Dubai, for example. People who are working with blockchain get in kind of buildings or ghettos or cities where they are all together trying to push blockchain or crypto or whatever. How is this representing the novelas?
The novelas, the look that I'm giving to the novelas is a little bit negative. Sorry for that. I am a little bit skeptical about how we are doing things because we have humans, sustainability, several areas that are not going very well. In relation to communities, right now, what we have now, and we have been discussing this during the day, we have these decentralized autonomous communities, organizations, where people with the same interests, decentralized way, they will share the creation of digital contents and they will own the property and the exploitation of these things. Basically, this is happening now. Now, imagine in 10 years, 20, 30, 40, it's going to be unbelievable. So probably we will have big communities doing different things. Also, polymath will affect here. Big polymath means knowing a lot of areas of knowledge with a lot of depth. Now, some people will go for the specialism position. I am the best person in nanotechnology, and I'm going to meet other people with nanotechnology skills, and we are going to build our thing, and we are going to be there. Some people, they will go for the generalist spot, and meaning that I want to know everything, but it's impossible to know it at a very high level, so the surface will be enough. And then the polymaths, which is Leonardo da Vinci. But Leonardo da Vinci is something that is very difficult to happen today. It's very, very difficult because knowledge is going so fast. The amount of information that we know from our studies is growing exponential, and it's impossible to follow that.
Well, it was a very, very, very interesting ground for starting a little bit the narrative of my book.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I alive every day when I go to customers. Drones, blockchain, health, space travel, people who want to print, 3D print organs, and they are seeking for disruptive innovation. So when I stayed there and thought, why I'm spending so much time educating people to apply innovation processes. And this was the moment when I decided to write a book. In order to try to put a basis, in order that the people who are interested really to apply innovation have this kind of ideas or these kinds of topics which we was talking with Paco in a framework. Because otherwise, how can we deal with this? If I come today to one of your companies and start with these ideas, people will think that I am crazy. Just recording dreams? Who you think you are, Elon Musk? But actually, this is not so far away from the reality. Maybe in 2 years. Maybe Apple is doing it already in the Apple Watch. We don't know it. So this brought me to study a Master of Business Innovation, and I thought that there are so many frameworks which we learn in academia, but then they are not as applicable as we think in the industry. And I was really triggered to try to communicate to all the levels of a company, but especially to the board of the companies, that we need to set the right seeds in order to allow all the people in the organization to start thinking to the next level.
It's interesting, and I'm going to ask you a question about this. Because if you take a look to the methodologies and tools coming from management, They are very much coming from a situation where uncertainty is not very high, and these tools, we know them very well. So this Michael Porter, 5 forces, pestle analysis, blah, blah, blah. When we get into innovation, our uncertainty goes up quite a lot. And then we have these tools that look into the future. And we have tools like wildcards, scenario planning, and many more. The interesting thing is that many times CEOs in companies, large companies, medium-sized companies, they take decisions in relation to the future. I am thinking 3, 7, 10 years, in relation to what we call it intuition, the intuition of the CEO. This feeling that I have in my stomach. I think flying cars run by artificial intelligence in Dubai will happen in the year 2030, in Madrid 2040. But that's an intuition. My question is, do you think they can rely on intuition, or do they need something more?
Well, I think that the world accelerated pace and also the variables. In the 90s, if you bought good for a good price, you have a clear path and you sell it for more, you have a business. Today you have many other variables which are not that easy to understand. So I think the intuition is important, but it could be biased. And also the pace in which we are making decisions is way higher than 20 years ago. So there are tools which help us on a strategic level to avoid to fall in this strategic drift, which is a gap between where we want to go and where we are actually going, because the business still giving us enough profit. But then it could be that it happened that we have a cliff because we didn't predict this. And this is a little bit what intuition is going to produce. So we need today board of directors which are all talking about the same language, about the things which are happening, in order to understand what is happening. And a whole set of KPIs which are not only the financial KPIs, which will also show us some things which are obfuscated with the reality. So what we, for example, do is an innovation assessment in order to see which are the radical pockets and which are the blockers in an organization, which is not related with the business and the market at the moment, but it shows us where are the capabilities, where are the talents and the skills for new ideas which we want to bring. And then this intuition can be used, but always with validated data, we say.
Okay, if we go back to the year 2000, and that I work with many business schools, and I was also a student at the time, innovation was not like a core subject in an MBA. So you had marketing, sales, operations, strategy, HR, or whatever. Innovation was not on the agenda of a proper syllabus. Now it's impossible to have like an MBA or MBI without innovation at a core area of knowledge inside. In relation to boards, C-level, and all the board in general, giving some insights to the C-level, do you think they have a proper understanding of what is innovation and why today is so important?
To be honest, I think that is underestimated, and the priority which boards are giving to innovation, it's not enough. What we see from statistical data is that in the year 2000, or around 2000, the lifespan of a company in the SP 500 was around 30 years, and today it's 12. But if you ask these boards how important is innovation, 90% of the companies tell you that it's very important. Now, only 10% of these companies are doing something related. And how can I say that? Because I ask, do you have an innovation playbook? And they don't have it. So this shows me that the priority of the innovation is it's not set yet. I think COVID moved a little bit the priority, and if you will compare it with seguridad, higiene, health and safety. Sorry, in the year 2000 or late 90s, health and safety was a department in the company in a dark corner, and every time when something happens, they call the guy. But today, health and safety is integrated in every desk or desktop where an employee arrived the first day, and the desktop can be adjusted in the height, and then the ergonomic chair is also proper set for him in his position. Mm-hmm. Why? Because it's everything related that if this guy have a proper environment to work with, safe and healthy, integrated in his everyday, he will have a better performance. Now, when we go back to innovation, it's the same. Innovation was a little bit seen in the R&D department, the innovation guys from the innovation department, but today it's coming to the core of the company. As we had in the past, CFO, CEO, and operations, and HR was a little bit to side. HR is also coming to the core because talents are so important, and also innovation is coming to the core of the C-level.
Okay, when we see many studies today, something that appears is that for innovation there are several barriers or challenges or problems. And surprisingly, one of the biggest one is internal wars inside the company. That is even more than 55% of the size of the problem for this type of studies. Second one, culture. There we go. And if you go back, you go down, then you will find things connected like silos, communication, coordination. These are like human soft problems. Oh, I go back to my Koji Neon novels. So what can you do? Because then you have to be an expert in organizational behavior. You need some understanding of psychology, sociology. You need to understand from the classical schools of management. You have the scientific management, bureaucratic, administrative. These are the classical ones. Then you have the human relations and the organizational behavior schools. People like Maslow, McGregor, Herzberg. All these people, they were releasing after the studies from Hawthorne all the knowledge that we know today that are key to run these things. So, what do you do?
Well, if we took the knowledge of all these authors, you can resume it in 66 capabilities, which are related with the enabling of different activities, which the companies must to master in order to achieve the challenges or the goals, to solve the challenges. So what we do is an assessment in order to see where are the capabilities, which related with a correlation analysis, we can see the company want to be a market leader, technology driver, or have any other kind of aspiration. Which are the capabilities which these companies need to have in order to achieve this aspiration? It's the same as you tell me that you want to play with your team in the Champions League. But after I do the assessment, I see that you have tennis players. So maybe you need to rethink your aspirations. And I think these battles are generated many times because the C-level is not talking the same language. Everyone has his own agenda, and this is something which we need to address and try to do also many not the typical workshops of 2 days, but actually proper strategy trainings where we bring all the people on the same level, which they can also communicate with the same wording. And doing strategy once a year is not enough. So what we do and what we recommend is to train the whole C-level on a strategic training and let them update the strategy four times a year, but not to really radically update the strategy, but to track that the steps which the company are doing and the market and the talents and the budgets and everything, it's following the direction in order to avoid these gaps.
You said radically, and that connected me with radical, and this is going to be a question in relation to the types of innovation, basically. So you know that from the Frascati manual, OCDE, then other people, even reaching Bettina in the recent years, you will have like this type of innovating in product, service, process, business models, social innovation, but the intensity normally goes from incremental, radical, discontinuous, disruptive, and especially this one, the late one with Clayton Christensen, is one that everyone is talking today. So if you go to any accelerator, they are going to be talking about disruptions, like our case. So we look for disruptions. There is not a clear understanding of what a disruption is or not. But in any case, what I see, and probably you have the same feeling, is that when we go to companies, CEOs and C-level, they will say, okay, business models, that's important for us. We have this linear business model. We are increasing the growth of the company in any ratio, sales, benefits, margins, or whatever, in a type of 8, 10, 12, 30%. This is tiny in relation to an exponential disruptive growth, which can be like 70, 90. So the question that we are receiving is, how can I complement my linear business model that is good enough with something that is exponential and is much more disruptive? And what do you do in your case?
Well, in my experience, and nowadays working a lot with AM, which is Advanced Air Mobility, and also in automotive, a clear case, for example, also case studied by Koenigsegg in Sweden, is we learned that these disruptive models which we try to get from innovation processes inside the corporates are not that ideal as they are set it up. Why? Because when you want to do something disruptive, you have some difficulties to put this on the shoulders of your employees. First thing is they might not have the proper holistic view of the business. The second thing is they don't have the power to make some decisions, and they will be always limited to the R&D budget. So the new ideas, these disruptive ideas, we recommend to create new collaborative environments where we invite the CEOs, not from only one company, but maybe also the competitors, to create a full new technology with some stakeholders which are decision makers and who have the possibility to decide about the budgets. And only then these disruptive elements start appearing, from maybe bringing together 20 different suppliers in order to solve a challenge, for example, doubling the range of an electric car without changing the capacity of the battery. How you do this? And then the word impossible arrives on the table. And then is when the people start triggering their most profound and deep ideas about, oh, only because this is impossible, I want to participate. It sounds so radical, so challenging for me that this captured my attention. And then you have the best engineers, then you have the best people in the industry trying to solve this challenge.
I said social innovation, and that will open a door to things like the bottom of the pyramid. That's a concept trying to explain that you have many businesses if you target the poor people, basically. Also frugal innovation. Many innovations are coming from places like India or Africa, which are very creative. Or the triple bottom line, John Elkington, stating that a company should consider 3 Ps, profit, people, planet, that will connect with other things like sustainable oriented innovation. That's an interesting concept because in sustainable oriented innovation, you have like 3 levels. Level 1, you are doing the same things better, more efficient or whatever, that's level 1, many companies are here. Level 2, you are doing new things that are good for the planet, for the people, so the triple bottom line will appear. And level 3 means that you are doing new things good for the people and the planet in collaboration with other people. They say companies like Philips probably are at a level 3. Walmart could be at a level 2, for example. Now, how do you incorporate that in your book?
Well, we start talking about the 3 horizons of McKinsey, but we're cooperating with Innovation 360 and partner in Dubai also with this Swedish company. And basically we found that the 3 horizons are not time limited as we normally are talking about the horizons, but uncertainty based. So the whole innovation process is based on hypothesis validation, on rapid prototyping and idea clustering. So you don't have a linear development of the ideas, but you put all these ideas in pools where many ideas start having relation in different topics. And you divide the 3 horizons which you mentioned also by strategic initiatives. And we also discovered that every of these horizons need to have a very special kind of talents. So I cannot put an accountant, which is a person which is very routine oriented, to do some horizon 3 research, because it's not his world. And the other way around, I cannot put somebody from horizon 3 to do bookkeeping, because he will get bored. So I think dividing these 3 horizons and finding the right people to do the different activities is what will bring the most success inside of the company for all the 3 levels.
Okay, we started with technology, and I'm going to go back to technology a little bit. Many money, well, lots of money is coming from Europe for the launching of new startups, trying to build new business proposals to the market. In my case, for the last 2 years, I have been assessing probably hundreds of memories of startups, more than 100 pages of documents that will have a business plan, a business model, all the Gantt chart, all the activities. And one of the things they have to put yes or yes is the technology readiness level. Again, if we go back to the year 2000, that was not there. This technology readiness level comes from La NASA originally and goes from 1 to 9 or 0 to 9, meaning that if you are in level 0, you are starting this in your head, and in level 9 you are deploying the technology with success into the market. The reason for La NASA to launch this methodology, which is very simple and visual, is that they were fed up of not knowing clearly if the technology was ready or not, and they were having some accidents with some prototypes or whatever. Now, this is a big change for CEOs, C-level boards, and everyone, middle management, everyone else, because means that everyone needs to understand somehow innovation in a way. So, do you incorporate these things in your book? What do you think?
Yes, and also from the practical point of view, what we learned is that these technical readiness levels need to be also be considered. For example, if we want to create something new, what I see in the industry is people sometimes limit themselves. This is, okay, we are talking about technology readiness level 3 upfront.
Mm-hmm.
But it means that the innovation was already defined. Technology readiness level 0 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
You wrote already what needs to be done. So does the innovation happen in this roadmap, or does the innovation happen before the technology readiness level 0? And then is when it starts to being interesting, because if you have the three helices, the research center say, okay, we touch everything between TRL 0 and TRL 3, and the private sector says, okay, we take from TRL 7 to 9 because we commercialize. But then this whole gaps between the understanding of what it's be done for whom, it's difficult, and I think there is a big loss between these phases. So it needs to be taken care also. I think it's a good evaluation tool, but it's not a good innovation tool.
It's interesting, and it will take you directly into skills. Hard skills, soft skills, hard skill, artificial intelligence, blockchain, blah, blah, blah. Soft skills, other ones. Now, if you take a look to the World Economic Forum for the year 2025, the top skills that companies are going to be looking for in their employees are what I call the 3 Cs: complex problem solving, critical thinking, and creativity. Now, do you think companies are training their people enough in these 3 things?
I don't think so. To be honest, I don't think so. And I can also tell you my experience why they are not doing this, and it's because fear. So if companies didn't do something, they are scared to do something, because don't ask something where you don't know the answer, more or less in this direction. So I think it's a big room for improvement in the whole creativity. But then we come again, and this is also a big challenge which I had in the past, so that's why the book explains it very well. What happened when a CEO decides, I want to have more creativity in my company? So I hear often that the people start doing design thinking workshops. But I don't understand the meaning for that, because if you start doing design thinking workshops, on the bottom line, you just get frustrated people, employees who perform the workshop, have great ideas, and then the ideas are not supported by the managers, and the budgets are not there. This employee will leave the company 2 years, I can guarantee. So if you are going to launch a design thinking workshop or any creative process in your company, it needs to be supported from the top management. Otherwise, it's not coherent. Then we go back to the PricewaterhouseCoopers assessment, which they do every year with 1,000 companies, where companies who are coherent between what they say, what they are doing, and they understand what they are doing on executive level also, they grow 10% more than the rest, and they have also 22% more EBITDA. Yeah?
And this is also connecting things to another study. This is coming from the Boston Consulting Group. Every year they release the 50 top innovative companies. 2 years ago they were very clear, and they show this in a graph, that there is a big problem, big one, which is the disconnection between R&D and marketing, especially. They speak different languages. This is reminding me to this book, Between Male and Female, where someone was saying, a psychologist, saying that men are like for Mars and women are from the moon or Jupiter or whatever. They speak different languages. It's not good or bad, it's different types of communication, and you need to understand how to communicate with others, basically. Now, why do you think there is this disconnection between R&D and marketing?
Well, when you work in corporate, you can feel it in your own body. I think the culture starts also from, as we say, from the top. The respect which the top management have for the different departments. If a company is a very technical company, then more or less the CEO, CTO are running the company, or you have a company which are more oriented in sales, and then the salespeople are the kings in the company. So it starts a little bit from there, who respects whom. And the second thing is that I think the interaction between these departments are not given. So everyone push the culpability of something good or bad to the others, or push or pull, and this is what normally happens.
Okay, I can be all night here speaking with you, but I think we are reaching probably the last part of the conversation. But something that I would like you to do, and you tell me when you want to finish, is that if you need or you want to give like 3 clear messages to the audience from the book that they can take to their companies and apply, which will be these 3 things? Difficult question, Alan.
Very clear, Robin. The first thing is, I always challenge people who want to innovate if they really have a clear strategy. Mm-hmm. And when we start discussing about strategy, they also find that they do not have a clear North Star, because they start 10, 20 years ago, and they define their mission, vision, and values at that time, but they didn't really work on it again and again. And as the world develops so fast, these things might be changed, or you have new people in the company who are not sharing these visions. So the first thing is to align that the C-level have a same vocabulary for the strategy and are understanding, sharing the ambitions on a personal level and on a business level. The second thing is that they can perform strategy on a very professional level, that they are really nurturing the strategy of the company. And the third thing is that the innovation management system, which you need in the company, is embedded inside of the roadmap of the strategic planning of the company. So these 3 things, North Star, strategic planning, like on a training level, very frequent, recurrently, like 4 times a year, and the innovation management system with the proper governance for innovation. These are the bases which we don't see in the industry performed on a level which helps the company to innovate.
Almost finishing, something about differences between cultures and countries. Hofstede, this is a study from IBM from many years ago. They were finding like big differences between 4 areas of the world. It's not the same doing businesses with a Japanese guy that a guy from Venezuela or Argentina or Spain or whatever, or Austria. How do you incorporate this international aspect of the human being in your book?
Well, we go there to measuring again the innovation IQ and who are more innovative. America, India, Brazil, Germany, and then we come to the topic cognitive diversity. It does not mean that if I have 6 different nationalities in a group, I have cognitive diversity. 6 different nationalities with 6 different backgrounds and the 6 different languages does not mean that people think different. Maybe they decide with the same process. And what we try to do is to understand what makes teams more intelligent as a team, not on brain IQ, but team IQ. And this is the diversity. Of course, more diversity, more difficult for managers to manage this. So this is a trait, because if the team is too diverse, too intelligent, then the manager need to have a higher skill set to manage the team, and also higher levels of autonomy, which we learned also with Carlos Osorio. the innovation skills need to be installed. And when you install these innovation skills and you measure again 1 year later, you see, for example, that Chinese SMEs are way more innovative than American SMEs, and then all the companies start competing internally. So if you have a company with an European headquarter, departments in the US and in India, which is the most innovative division, and might be India, and America and Europe will not accept it.
Interesting. I'm going to be closing my part, and then you will have the closing words, with something very special for several people that are here. So yourself, Pilar, myself, we have been training innovation in Florence. As you know, we spent 1 week together trying to understand what was happening during that time in the Renaissance with the Lorenzo Medici, the Medici family. Now, many people, they get surprised that we go, instead of MIT or whatever, Stanford or Berkeley or Harvard, we go to Florence to understand innovation. So I'm going to briefly explain what happens there, and then I will ask you to explain what is the Medici Effect. Okay? I'm not going to explain it. But basically what happens when we go to a training in Florence is that we spend 5 days. Normally, 1 day we are going to be discussing the Lorenzo Medici family. On another day we are going to be discussing about Michelangelo. Can you imagine that? The David. Another day we are going to be speaking about Leonardo da Vinci, and we will go to Vinci, his city, and visit the museum. 4th day we will be speaking about Machiavelli. Machiavelli makes sense in a company or not? It's very interesting to go through the week. And finally, Dante, La Divina Commedia, which is a journey. Sorry?
Divina Commedia is super good.
Divina Commedia, thank you! Now, 2 things that I took myself from this incredible week, as a businessman, as a person, is that something that you can try to find in your life is what is going to be your masterpiece. This is also applicable to a company. What is going to be your masterpiece? And the second one is very much related on how are you going to make the way fight, the journey to do that, taking into consideration that life will go very, very fast, and many things will happen. Now, what did you take from the week in Florence, personally, your masterpiece, things like that, and why do you think this could be applicable to companies, something like that?
Well, as you say, Florence was a very interesting week with Steiner, our trainer there, where you take your lessons in the morning, and during the evening you go and see the things which was taught and learned in the city. I think one of the most deeper meditations which we have was also thinking about the meditations of Marco Aurelio.
Mm-hmm.
And Florence brings you a little bit to think about your purpose in life and how you connect with this, and also many months later after this you take your notes, what you wrote there, and the trainer brings you also through different patterns which you need to develop some very deep thoughts about what people who are not anymore in the world will ask you inside of your meditations. And actually Claudio, Pepe and me, we was sharing, I think my purpose is to help, yeah? And at this moment I didn't understand what's the meaning about helping people.
Can I tell you my purpose?
Yes.
Create.
Create.
So help create.
Very good. So The question is, you can always help in life as you do, but what I think is that I learned in Florence is I could help with things which I learned and code it or decode it and communicate it to people who are not yet there to understand the whole path in a very synthesized way, and they will get this message and might do something or not, and this fulfill me a lot. So I think the book is one of the masterpiece which collect a little bit all the messages of all our maestros from the
Academic, Platonic Academy. Yeah?
from the academic, yeah, and our Medici group, which we have with all our MBIs around the world, and try to help people to go this path which I did, incorporate in innovation way easier, because all this frustration which people have in corporate, on the corporate world, yeah, because these goals and these management targets are not really well aligned, could be solved way easier as what companies are doing it today.
So, what's the Medici effect? I will tell you my version and you can tell me your version. Lorenzo di Medici, something that he was doing, he was trying to nurture talent, basically. And something that he was doing was putting these incredible people, Michelangelo or whatever, in his palaces, giving them some resources, time, and more things for these people to create. But he was also doing something else, different, which is connecting these people socially in the times they were not working. So you could see these people, incredible people, like incredible artists, painters, sculptors, people traveling, people from the military world, people from the religious thinking, people from many areas, and they were having dinner together with very nice food and drinks, and there was an explosion of creativity. That is what we call el efecto Medici, which is finding innovations in the intersections of knowledge. But this can be done when you're working and can be done when you are enjoying, which is what is going to happen today. So, what do you think? Just to finish with this.
Well, it's not only about what I think, but what I learned since we learned this concept, and we have a practical experience. Paco was the director of the master I did in Bilbao and San Sebastian, and I started working in a project in Dubai, and one day we had an event where we had the possibility to dress and exhibit in the whole extension of the Burj Khalifa, the highest building in Dubai, art. So it was no connection between Paco, an artist, and this event. But at this moment, this Medici effect happened, because things which was working incrementally, slowly over the years, one day came together. We needed an artist to paint the art which will be exposure in the Burj Khalifa. So I called Paco.
August, I remember August. I changed my holidays for
And Paco was working day and night over a couple of months in order to deliver 7 signs of the United Emirates, Arabic Emirates, and then the day of the event we exposure it. But this magnificent art needed music, so I called Pablo. Pablo is a orchestra director, the national Argentinian orchestra, and he brought also other artists in the game. So at the end, we have Paco, we have Pablo Bullano, the orchestra director, with classical music. And we also had another Argentinian artist, which was Pablo Lembo, a digital artist. And it was a beautiful art, and all this came together. And if you want to design this or to imagine this years ago, it was impossible. It was a moment which was like very special. And this day I start believing about the Medici Effect, and now once you feel it one time, you see and you believe that it's going to happen many times. Because then when you have your perception, intuition, what we was talking before, nobody can understand what you are seeing. But you connect two people and tell them, I see that you have this capability and you have this capability and you can reach this together. And they might see it or not at this moment, but in 2 years you will see they will come together. So Paco,
So glad.
thank you very much for your companion here. It was a pleasure, it was a really honor to have you here after all these years, since 2015. And I think for every of you who are interested in the book, we have books available. It will be also a pleasure to get your feedback and also all your questions, which I'm delighted to answer.
Thank you very much, Alan. It's a pleasure. Thank you.